Hey guys, this is Mel, and I'm here to talk about Legends of Tomorrow, episode 214, titled Moonshot, which premiered Tuesday, March 14th, 2017 on the CW. It is the 16th. It's been a few days since I've seen the episode, but huge spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the episode, go do so first, then come back to see what I have to say about the episode after some time has passed for me to process things. Otherwise, on screen, my other reminders, so take a moment to check over that. Otherwise, 10-minute clock has started. And let's begin with what happened in this episode. So timeline-wise, we get to see Manhattan in 1965. Then we jump to Houston on April 13th, 1970. Episode reminder has to deal with the last piece of the Spear of Destiny. The villain being Eobard Thawne, as he is after that piece. Now, episode breakdown, storyline-wise, first off, the two timeline points is Manhattan of 1965 is when Rip Hunter originally dropped off Henry Haywood with his piece of the Spear of Destiny. The team gets there a little too late to intercept that drop-off, so then they end up finding Henry Haywood again back in Houston of 1970, which is where they jump to kind of intercept with him there. So Henry Haywood is found there. We find out his piece of the Spear of Destiny he had hidden on the flag that was left on the moon. So that's why he raised up in the ranks of NASA. So Ray actually retrieves that piece on the moon when he stowaways on Apollo 13, but unfortunately that gets stranded, which forces Ray to work together with Eobard Thawne, who had manipulated his way onto Apollo 13 in order to get them launched off the moon and back to Earth. Because when he's on the moon with no gravity pulling him down or anything, Eobard Thawne has no speed. He has no friction to work with, anything like that. Also, during this whole mission, the Wave Rider takes on some massive damage, which ends with Henry sacrificing himself to help the team return home on the ship. So there is that. Last moments of the episode show Amaya learning about her future granddaughter, through Gideon, after Nathan had spilled the beans to her about it earlier on in the episode. Tidbit-wise, though, we get Rip confirming to us that he has accepted Sarah as the captain, even acknowledging the fact that she's better at it than him, and now he feels like he's an outcast, which Sarah thinks is fitting since all of them were outcasts. He's now just officially a legend now. So there's that. We also get Ray getting a better understanding of Eobard Thawne during their temporary moon truce. Don't know if that's going to extend to anything else later on, though, but we definitely see some similarities pointed out between the two of them, especially by Eobard Thawne pointing the things out. We also get Amaya protecting Nathan from risking his own existence when Nathan is willing to send his grandfather back to his original time just before he left his family in hopes of it changing how his father was raised, which would have changed how Nathan was raised. But then Amaya worries that just because Hank's raised differently means that Nathan may not even be born, or if he is, then he may not end up being the man he is today. So she tries to save him, which ultimately leads to Henry not returning to his time. So there's that. Also, we find Nathan meeting a younger version of his father, Hank, back at NASA, where Henry originally had rigged a contest so that Hank would be able to see the launch from NASA's headquarters, which he doesn't get to do. But Nathan takes the opportunity to kind of bond with that version of his father. So there's that. Most shocking moment of the episode, I have to say, would be that all the things that were brought up between Ray and Eobard Thawne while they're working together. There's many references to what had happened on The Flash, and then it was just a lot of similarities. Eobard Thawne brought up many, many good points in regards to Ray and showing how they are truly similar, or how some of Ray's actions were more selfish than anything, more similar to how Eobard Thawne had done his wrongdoings, I guess you could say. So it's just interesting to have all those things pointed out. Now, moving on to top 3 favorite moments. I have to say the first one has to be the moment between Rip Hunter and Sarah, when he's confessing to her that he didn't have a problem with her becoming captain or remaining captain now that he's back. He's actually acknowledged that she's done a much better job at it than he has. So I thought there might have been a bit more tension or the fact that he wanted his captain spot back. But I felt like he was accepting of the new change, the way that things work differently now. It was really great to see him accept it instead of trying to fight his way back into his original spot and reverting things back to the way he had left them. So there's that. Second favorite moment I had was when Amaya was actually learning about her future, all the way up to the point where she sees her granddaughter at the end, to the point that she actually sees pictures of her and her wearing the Vixen amulet or totem. It was just great to see those images that we see of when Vixen was portrayed in season 4 of Arrow. It was just really great, even though Maya is not supposed to learn about her future. It's great that she wanted to learn and see what her legacy would have became of it if she hadn't gone on the Wave Rider, and see just what could have came from it. It was just very interesting. It was always great to see those little crossover moments. Like before, previously, when they were trying to work out who the identity of the speedster was, and they had pictures of the speedsters we have met on the Flash on the board in the background. So it's just little moments like that was always it's always great to see, or even the mentions of what happened on the Flash between Ray and Eobard. I love those moments as well. Another favorite for me has to be Ray actually getting his own mission to go to the moon, and just him taking in that moment and getting excited about it. That was really cool to see. It's great to see him getting excited about the little stuff like that, or I guess the big things too, instead of just having all the doom and gloom pounding down on him. So there's that. Another favorite moment, I have to say, would be seeing Professor Stein actually getting Mick to sing along with him as a distraction in the command center. That was hilarious. I was even surprised that Mick was like, you want me to do what? But he still goes along with it. So that's great. Also with Mick, though, a bonus favorite was the fact that he did the introduction voiceover again. And I always love it when he does it, because he just gets right to the point and he says it as it is. Even he points out any of the ridiculousness that he thinks of is like, you guys are an idiot type thing. So it's just like, I love it. Every time he does this, like, yes. It's like, thank you. It's always great to see his like point of view on everything. So there's that. Moving on to top 3 peeve moments. I only have one peeve, and that was the fact that Henry died. I understand why it had to happen. It just sucks that it had to happen the way it did, especially for Nathan, who, after all this time, was worrying about him, and then he finally found him, but then didn't really get to have him, didn't get to have enough time with him. Like, he could have joined the team, Henry, like Amaya had done, and just stay on the team that way. He doesn't wreck the timeline in that sense, but it wasn't meant to be, apparently. So that was a little peeve of mine. Moving on, though, to what moment will I remember most when I look back on this episode? I have to say the landing on the moon. The whole moon mission, that was pretty cool. It was great to see how the team kind of changed that up a bit. So there's that. Moving on quickly to random questions. First one is, after all is said and done, will Amaya return to 1942 to restore her part of the timeline? It has me wondering, because also with Amaya not in her current timeline at the moment, doesn't that affect what has happened on Arrow? Doesn't that affect Mari McCabe as Vixen? Doesn't that affect her helping out Arrow in season 4? Doesn't that affect what she has done on the Vixen TV show over on CWC? Doesn't Amaya staying with the team affect all that stuff that has happened, or not? I'm confused by that. But as you know, time travel really, really, really has me confused. I don't know what's considered to have changed, what hasn't. How long does it take until it's set in stone that things have changed? It's just, yeah, I'm confused. Second question. What will Rip Hunter's new role on the team be? He's not the captain anymore, so what is it that he is? He seemed a bit more flustered in this episode, too, so I'm wondering if it's just because he's been out of the role for so long, or he's been out of the ways of the... He just seemed flustered about what it is to be done, type thing, or how things should go about doing. He didn't have as much confidence as he did before, so there's that. He seemed like more the Rip Hunter that was inside, that was trapped inside his head, like a caged animal type thing. So there's that reminder. Last question. Sarah brought up her thoughts about Rip sending her to a time of the Salem witch trials where she was about to be killed or hanged for being a witch, or being accused of being a witch. Will we hear any other complaints about the time scatter they all experienced, or was that little blurb the only bit of complaint we're going to get? Since it took up a big 6 months chunk of their lives, so I'm just wondering if that's the only part that we're going to hear about it or not. But moving on to the next section of predictions, though, based off the promo, I believe we have the spear is going to be, if I remember correctly, the spear is going to be rebuilt to actually look like a spear of destiny, and then apparently they're going to have to take it to the vanishing point. And from the looks of it, Captain Cold is going to be there, and not only is Mick going to see him, but the Rip Hunter acknowledges him. So it makes you kind of wonder, is he actually dead or not? So there's that. Based off the synopsis, though, for the episode, it reads that the Legends must devise a plan to retrieve the last remaining fragment of the Spear of Destiny from the Legion of Doom. They find themselves in France at the height of World War I, faced with the knowledge that they must destroy the mystical object. They enlist the help of a soldier by the name of John Ronald Rule Tolkien, and find that the spear is leading them into the heart of the war. Meanwhile, the team must all resist the temptation of the spear and the return of a former teammate. Stein, Ray, Rip, Sarah, Mick, Jax, Nathan, and Amaya all are set to appear. I just realized that none of them were actually named in that synopsis, which is usually the case when they always have to list them at the end, saying that they will appear as well. So, new questions from that. I have to say, how many pieces do we actually have? Do we actually have Rip's piece of the spear, or does the Legion have them? Because then I think if the Legion has Rip's piece, then I think it's 2 for 2 at the moment. Since we have Stargirls, we have Commander Steele's Rip's piece. Don't know if it's on with the Legion or with the Legends team, but then Dr. Midnight's team is with the Legion team. So there's that. But aside from that, that is pretty much it. What do you guys think of the episode? What do you guys like about it? What do you think is going to happen next? Let me know in the comments down below. Love to hear your own thoughts, theories, opinions about all that good stuff. Also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos if you haven't done so already. If you want, check out my Tumblr page. The link for that is down below. I read blog promos, web clips, quotes, gifs, synopses, news, all that good stuff, all found in one place. So go check that out. Right now, also, it's attached to my WordPress account. Everything I post online is connected to that, as well as anything else I post. WordPress is a work in progress, so keep that in mind. But I plan for it to be something great. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for your patience. I hope you come back next week to hear what I have to say about the next episode. There's only 3 more episodes left of the season. But with that all said, guys, until next time, this is Mel, wishing you a great day, great week, wherever you are. Bye for now.